Hey, it's Jason Records here. We're on with another podcast, and today we have a band from Ontario, just like us, Taming Sari.
Yeah, and this podcast is brought to you by South River Brewing Co. SouthRiverBrewing.ca. Check them out, $50 or more, free shipping as always. It's great beer, guys. Check it out.
All right, here we are, another podcast tonight, and we have Taming Sari, kind of localish for us in Ontario, right? You guys are up. You guys are up in Ottawa, is that right? Is that kind of
Ottawa, yeah.
Yeah, man.
perfect?
So why is your internet so bad in Ottawa? What's going on in
no
Ottawa?
kidding, eh?
Warren, you tell us what's going on in Ottawa.
I have no idea why the internet right now is so crappy here. It definitely is crappy for me. I mean, I think there's just too many of us using it.
Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, it's all we can all do in Ontario right now, anyways.
Yeah, we're locked down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoever,
Netflix overload.
exactly.
Yeah.
whoever's on Rogers internet, apparently they're having issues, so that could have something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, they had that massive outage earlier on this week, or was that?
Yeah.
No, it was last
That was
week.
last week, man.
It was
It's
last
all,
week. That
it's
was
all
insane.
blur. It's all fucking
It's
blur.
all a blur. It is all a blur.
Yeah, people couldn't even browse Facebook on the bathroom anymore on the toilet.
Yeah, they were fucking losing it for sure.
Like, fuck, man. That's like my little pleasure of the day, you know, being able.
Can't even do that.
Imagine shitting with no distraction. Holy
Yeah.
crap, that's
Or read the shampoo bottle like in the old days.
yeah. What's in here?
What's
Yeah.
actually in this?
Rinse and
Sears
repeat.
catalog doesn't exist anymore. We can't go to that.
Sears
We've
catalog.
lost a lot. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
lost most magazines. No Mad magazine. You
Yeah,
have to now use the Instagram and you have to use the Facebook
Facebook.
because
The Facebook. That's
all
what
the
Nate
good
says.
print is
I
dead.
say that all the time. The Twitter,
Nate's like the TikTok.
the TikTok, the Twitter.
Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah,
The
my
internet.
grandparents. I don't know why we're talking about this. My grandparents had a like a magazine stand in the bathroom, and then you just gotta think. Like this is a while ago, but you gotta think like how many dirty shit hands touch these magazines. I mean,
It's space age technology, man. At that
Yeah,
point, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's so advanced.
I'm
We
glad-
weren't, we weren't the same about sanitization those days. That's
No,
for
Yeah,
No.
that's right.
right. You would just read that magazine and high five as many people.
Yeah, they were immune to anything that was going to show up.
No, they'll live forever. Joe got offended by that. He's gone.
He said, I'm going to go take a shit now.
Gone?
no, he's grabbing a beer. He's grabbing something.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll get back.
No,
We'll
it's
get to
all
the
good.
music. We'll get to the music because
Eventually, yeah, we'll get to the music eventually. Yeah, so you guys, it's nice to see because we're all in the same boat. Although you guys, when did you guys start playing?
2017, 2018.
All right, right
Somewhere
around
in
there.
there.
Right? And then
Yeah.
how'd you guys all get together? Because from what I've read, you guys are all from different parts, right?
Yeah,
Well,
there
we're
was-
all from the main Gatineau, Ottawa region. Like a couple of us are on, or well, basically now all of us are in Ottawa except for Miguel. He's still on the Quebec side where they have a curfew at 8.
Oh, right.
At least we don't have a curfew.
I
We're
was gonna
stay-home
say
order,
we
but-
gotta at least be thankful for that. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But we used to
yeah, the
jam on the
curfews made things a little bit difficult for jamming, and
Yeah.
but yeah, we share that bridge with Quebec. So before it was like Danny and Mig and some people living over in Quebec, Adam. So
Adam
three
as
out of
well, yeah.
5 were living over there, and we used to jam over on that side. And now we've sort of moved more and more to Ontario, but Mig is still there, like we were saying. But I met up with Adam and Mig, and we played. And then this great guy, this bass player down here, Alex, he
It depends on
showed
where you're
up.
at. It's all good. Yeah.
yeah,
Somewhere.
wherever
he's
he
here
is,
to me.
he's
Yeah,
here
yeah.
somewhere.
This guy.
And yeah, Alex, the bass player for us, and when he joined, it made things a lot better. He was a great musician, very organized person. He was the missing piece we were looking for. Adam, the drummer, he's a very driven individual, really wants to climb the mountain. He's very multi-talented, so having him to start the band was a really good piece. I'm a crazy vocalist guy. I like to create. I like improv. I like theater. I like the process maybe as much as anything else. So I think I was good for that. And we met up and we just kind of got gung-ho about what we could do together if we threw our hats in together in seriousness, because I think that's like, I was so frustrated from past experiences. Like, it had been a while since my last serious band. And I just told them, I'm like, I'm not doing this unless like you really want to do this. Like, unless you actually want to find a way to contact the most amount of people with our music, then I'm not really interested. And they're like, well, what's that mean? And the more we got into it, the more I realized they wanted it just as badly as I did.
Yeah.
And
with the question of like investing the time, investing the money, and just being able to travel as well. Like we toured, all the way to Lake Huron, all the way to New Brunswick. So like we traveled a lot. So I think everybody was really passionate and driven. And recently, we got our friend Joe that he's down there for me. I don't know where he is.
Yep, he's down there for me too. All the way to the bottom.
He's a super talented guy, super straight up. And he's amazing at guitar, and he has a great energy, and we're just so happy to have him with us. And like he's been helping us, get back on that writing train and just, getting some more material out there. And we're super excited to record some more stuff like very soon when all this is opened up again, when all the studios and so we're super excited about that.
That's like probably about 95% of it is not even the music. It's just being in a group that has the same goals or the same drive, I guess. Like I was in bands in Toronto, and it was always somebody always anchored the band down. Like someone always wasn't, as driven, or didn't give a shit as much. And when I moved to London about 10 years ago now, and I joined the band when I was here, and it was the same thing, man. Like they were just more about getting together and having beers and playing foosball and shooting the shit, which I'm cool with that. But it was like, man, what are we doing? Because I was with those guys for about 5 years, and we played one show, we never recorded anything. And it's like after 5 fucking years of playing the same songs and
5 years, wow.
5 years, man. Yeah, and we didn't actually do
That's
anything.
like not having sex for 5 years.
It was exactly like that, but it was like the foreplay kind of, right? It was like kind of there. The lead up was there, but like, so yeah, so it just yeah. So it's kind of at that point where it was like kind of like what are we fucking doing? Like, if you guys want me to hang out and drink beers, I'll do that. Like that's fine. But why? Like, let's not fool each other. Like, we're not doing anything. That's why when I met Nate, man, it happened so quick. It was like, in the last year, we've recorded over 22 songs, and we're just we're releasing things slowly, and it's cool because we're not able to play shows, but we're doing more than when I was in bands when we had like the whole world's ahead of us. We could do anything we want to do, and we did nothing. So it's like kind of interesting being like, I want to jam, but I can't, as opposed to I can jam. I'm just gonna get wasted and fucking play foosball, So I think the biggest struggle is finding like minds. I think like minds are tough. And you guys are 5 guys, right? So
for sure. Yeah, to gel well. There needs to be like sort of that connector in between the guys, and maybe one day, someone's bummed out one day, and then everyone else will bring them up, and we'll shoot the shit a little bit, and like, hey, I got this crazy riff, I got this idea. Like we just have to lift each other up, and
like a team.
Really
You're
cool.
a team.
Yeah.
It's a team. It's a full-on team.
Definitely a full team effort. I think that, today there's so many different tools available to the artists everywhere. And because of the internet, of course, nothing else is working right now, but the internet's still working. So
for now,
it's our last resort.
And so because of that, we have all these different tools now that we can put to our disposal with planning. And even when we get everything back, again, the word for bands and the word for artists is, what's your plan? What's your plan? Like, you need to be Napoleon about this stuff. You need to really think about how you can roll things out one after the other and get a hype train going. And I just think a lot of Canadian artists, they don't think that that's something they need to do. I think they think, oh, I'm going to attract some American whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to attract something, and they're going to do the hyping for them. And I say, like, that's not the way it worked for Celine Dion. That's not the way it worked for Bryan Adams. It's not the way for any of these guys. They had to pretty much like mortgage their lives before the world took notice. Like, they had to put everything out there. And so it's no different for anyone. The more work we put in, the more connections we make, the better it'll go, I think. Right?
Yeah. That was the reason why we even started this podcast. Was one, we couldn't play. So that was the biggest thing. And as a new band, you're not going to make a single connection if you're not going to play. right? You're not going to meet anyone. So for us, it was like, hey, why don't we start a podcast where it's more so just having those connections, right? And we've been fortunate because we've been able to make connections all around the world by doing this. Whereas playing shows in Ontario, that's probably not going to be the case. You know, you're certainly going to make local connections in that, but so at least we've made connection. They said, like, if you ever make it over here, you let us know, and you know, we'll get you guys set up so you can play. You know, it's kind of neat that way, where, you know, the world that we live in, that we could maybe have that opportunity. But you're right, you've got to do stuff. Like Andrew and I are always out there trying to find ways, like you said, to keep the ball rolling, try and get a hype train going. I like that way, Warren, because you know, we never thought of it that, you know, in that way, but just trying to go get the momentum and keep it rolling. I think, are you guys doing the same? Like, because I see, like, you had the Gone and Run Away single that was just released. Is that February, I believe, right? That you had that come out?
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
It was Valentine's Day. Is that kind of your goal now? Is more singles than the full length? You had like the 8-track album that you put out. Is that the way you guys are heading right now, is singles?
Well, we're planning different things. So we're ideally, we'd be working on a couple of singles throughout the next year, but also looking to record our second album. That's going to be sort of the big project that we're focusing on right now. And since we have a lot of time to write, I think we have, you know, the time required to like build a catalog of songs that could possibly go on an album. And, you know, it's basically, when you're releasing something, when you're releasing a single, like, we have our own little strategy where we build that hype, we do a countdown. Usually we have a video that comes with it. We work with a publicist, you know, just to beef up the release. So a single release can make a bang, but we're ideally, you know, we build enough material to release an album.
You want to throw combos. You want to throw combo punches.
Punches,
That's what I tell all the other bands, you know?
Yeah.
Those combos.
You got to package everything so nicely that people will just are like, oh shit, this is awesome. Let's check this out, right?
People expect the best. People expect the very best today. You know, that they can get so much from the glamorized world still, that they just expect things to be really, really, really good, really well packaged.
Where did you guys find reputable publicists from? Like, I feel like there's a lot of publicists.
We entered in. We entered into the CBC Searchlight competition last year with our video "Wake Up Boy," and so when we did that, we had someone reach out to us, and they had 17 Juno nominations on their resume, among many, many other things. And so we were like, yes, absolutely, this is would be a good investment. Because of the connections, and he's on CTV often talking about entertainment, stuff like that.
Sirius
so like
XM on the radio as well.
Yeah.
So just he had very good reputable sources, and the price he was offering was very fair and reasonable for what he was promising to give us, which he's always delivered, which is
that's key.
Press. Yeah, it's press, it's articles, it's podcasts,
interviews.
It's whoever, like he sends it out to a lot of people. Last time, our last song was added to campus radio, U of T, and University of Guelph, and stuff like that he did for us as well. And now we're bothering him a lot to like get us on Spotify playlists, because that's like the hardest thing. So now we're always harassing him, like, get your playlist. Now he does have a playlist. So next song, I'm really gonna bother him.
Yeah,
really
that's a good call.
It's always bother people. Always bother them until they give you a little bit, a little bit of what you want. Just be nice about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch you, Warren. Be nice about it.
I think the biggest thing that I saw, one of the biggest advice, is kind of build a relationship with people around, like, you know, that if you're looking to get played on, and build a relationship, don't be forceful at first, but, you know, get to know them, let them get to know you, and then, you know, kind of build that relationship, be like, hey, you know, I have this song here. And but it's hard, because Andrew and I were just talking about it just before you guys came on, about trying to sift through the shit that's out there, right? The people that just want your money. You know,
there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot.
There is a lot of them out there.
Even the legitimate people want money.
Yes.
Even the legitimate sources want money. That's the thing, is like radio tracking in a legitimate way with like one of the top 7 or top 10 radio trackers in the country is gonna run you a lot of money, like a lot, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, like
Yeah.
Might have to
radio
mortgage the
staff.
house.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like those are legitimate people, but they're like, yeah, if you want to be a top 40 band, then this is where it is. And top 40 is becoming more and more absurd. It's the farther we get away from the jukebox, which is where the top 40 comes from, because you could only fit 40 records in the jukebox.
Right.
And so that's where the top 40 came from. I mean, that's a long time ago. That's an old model to be basing things off of. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of bands today. Top 40, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit bizarre. It's like, really, that's egotistical to think that there's 40 artists in the world right now that are legitimately dominating. And we know that now because we see the bluffing of numbers. We see the stacking of YouTube numbers. We see the stacking Spotify numbers. We see the stacking of all kinds of things. And then you look at this band and you say, yeah, but where's their fan base? And it doesn't exist. You dig a little closer, and there is no fan base.
That's one of my pet peeves. Like, is this the stacking numbers? Is what is when I found out that was happening. I was so naive to the whole thing, and then when we got on Spotify, I was introduced to this world of stat padding, and it drives me fucking mental. Like, if someone thinks. Like, what if someone's like, oh, they have 10,000 monthly listeners, but they have 0 fucking fans? Like, what does that do? Like, as an artist, you're like, is that for your ego? You're like, I have 10,000 like plays, but no one gives a shit still.
And how much did you spend to get those 10,000 plays?
That's the thing.
Like, and how many fans are you going to convert into people that are come to your shows, that are going to buy your merch, that are going to interact with your posts on social media? And that's what counts, right? If you see a post from a band and people are like, oh, I love you guys, and I saw you this and this, like, this is what creates like those real interactions, not like, hey guys, we have 10,000 monthly listeners, but
nobody gives a shit about anything.
Nobody gives a shit. And that's when Nate and I first released our first single, we were, and I talk about this all the time, we tried to get into an indie singles.
The Jack Daniels,
the Jim Beam.
Jim Beam Talent Search,
Jim Beam's Talent Search, and the first thing you needed was 10,000 Instagram followers.
Wow.
You couldn't enter without it, and I was fucking blown away because I was like, what the fuck? Why does that matter? And then I realized it's because they want to promote you. I mean, their booze to your 10,000 followers, right? Yes. But the thing is, and then if you do shit like that, you're encouraging stat padding. You're encouraging like bot followers. You're encouraging all this shit because you have set the standard where it doesn't even matter what your music sounds like. As long as you have a following, you'll get a head up on somebody else. And maybe that's why people do on Spotify. But I rather know. I'd rather have 90 people give a shit and listen than it shows 6,000 and be like, kicking ass when I would know. No one else would fucking know, but I would know we're paying to have that, which is like, it's embarrassing almost.
There's nothing better than organic growth, and you got to give yourself the time to get there as well. Like, for us, it took 2 years before we actually tracked something that we were really proud of and that we were proud to release with a video. You can't expect things to go, exactly your way. You got to go through some challenges. You got to go through, trial and error. And it's not by boosting your numbers that you're going to get there. It's hard work and just being genuine. I think that's going to get you further, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think you're bang on with that. It's exactly what we've talked about too. And that's what I said to Andrew before, because I know there's a couple times where it's like, oh man, I go, you know what? We've got to celebrate the small successes that we've had and know where they're coming from. Right. Yeah, and and I know you guys have been really fortunate because you guys were able to tour even in the summer, right? A little bit while things opened up briefly. And we haven't, like I said, we haven't even been able to jam in the same room. We could have briefly in the summer, but especially in my situation with my dad, is older, so it just wasn't going to be in the cards for at the moment. But it's one of those things where it's like we've got to celebrate the little things at this point, right? So I think you guys are right on. It's a grind. But
the thing is, if you're living with family, anyone like kids or someone that's vulnerable and their health is not, does not allow you to take those risks, then it is very complicated because you can't meet up with people.
No.
You can't jam, and you can't be even at a socially distant show. You don't want to take that chance and like
Right.
bring something back home. Like that's what makes it so difficult. But you know, you got to work on your stuff still. You still got to keep grinding. Like you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Through it all. Sorry, go
That's
ahead.
all-
It'll be
No, just
very,
it's what it is. Yeah. Go ahead, Warren.
it'll be built up again from the bottom up again. We're gonna have lost so many venues and so many promoters, and so many different people are going to have moved on with their lives in different directions, just because there's been no choice here in the matter. Like, you know, if you're a restaurant owner, I don't blame you at all, or you're a bar owner, I don't blame you at all if you've decided you'd rather put that capital in that business in another direction now, because it looks very bleak and there's no money being made there now. So because of that, when we do come back, in the vaccinated world, if it ever happens the way we can envision it,
It will.
then
It will. Believe.
it'll
believe.
be a lot of like small Woodstock like events, I think, that really jam things back again. It'll be a lot of outdoor festivals that get people going again. Because I think the bar scene will be so difficult, perhaps, to sell again to people in the way that it was before. I think we're going to see new models coming out. Maybe live streams will always be expected to be included now.
I think I was just going to say, I think that the live stream is going to be something that's going to be, you're right, is going to be expected. I mean, I must admit, I have watched countless live streams of some of my favorite artists, especially Canadian, and I'll mention it. Andrew's like, I know this is going, but Matt Mays did a bunch of cross country chin ups, or sorry, he did a bunch of mantle musics, and then Adam Baldwin, another one from out east, has done chin ups. He's doing another one this Saturday. And my family, like, we love them. Like, they're great. I mean, there's nothing, you know, it's great in a way being at home. It's not the same energy, of course, but it's nice to be able to just be at home, have a bunch of beers, watch a show, and then you're at home still.
The beers
At the
are
end of the
cheaper,
day.
that's for sure.
Absolutely, it is.
No
Now,
doubt.
mind you, the experience itself, then being at a live show and the energy that's there, you can't replicate that on a live stream.
It's the
There's just
smell.
no
You
way.
can't replicate the smell.
You can't replicate those.
No,
terrible
there's
flavors.
You
a-
can't
the
replicate
vomits, the
those
fucking vomits.
bathrooms.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
bathrooms.
The
Yeah.
vapors of sweat, beer, and
Yeah.
excitement. You know,
But
like
in reality,
Exactly.
like, you can't replicate like being a little bit buzzed and you know, and there being a bunch of cute girls, or, you know, selling out your merch section, or like whatever great memory, you know, you might have. Like, there's a lot of great show memories that's what I feel
Yes.
nostalgic for right
Mhm.
now. I feel also very blessed and very lucky. I was in music, then I was out of music, and these guys pulled me, they dragged me back in. And then after that, it was like, we got lucky. We recorded some good songs, and we got to play with some good bands. And it's like, yeah, we got to do sold out shows with the Lazies and White Cowbell, Oklahoma, and
Planet
the Planet
Smashers.
Smashers, and like a lot of like awesome gigs happened, where I'm just like, I'm so lucky. We're so lucky that happened in 2019, because then the whole world went to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
True.
yeah, we got these shows in 2020. Like you were saying, we got to play at Outdoor Voodoo, which had 100 people, spaced all out in a field, which was cool.
Yeah,
It's
that'd be
interesting.
interesting, eh? Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not a normal festival, right?
No.
And then it's like, we did these shows at the Brass Monkey here in Ottawa, which were for 50 people. And again, they're all spaced out, and everyone's got a mask on as soon as they stand up. If they sit down, then they can hike it off. Like, there's rules.
There's the
you
mask
don't normally-
police, the guy that
Like, there's
looks-
normally no rules at a rock show. It's like mosh pit, like
Right.
get each other, like, you know, get drunk. But like, it was very like, everyone sit at their table and be very reserved, and enjoy the music. And like, we had these you know,
plexiglass.
That's where we met.
glasses.
Was that
That's
Joe?
where
was
we
that,
met
Joe?
Joe. That's
Oh,
where we
it's
met
got-
Joe.
That's where we met, at that show.
Yeah, we played a show with old James, and
At that-
Joe was there looking at me very seductively.
The one COVID show. That's where we met. That was so weird.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome,
we
man.
did a few of them. But they're weird. And I mean, it's more like we do them because we're desperate. Because, well, now they're not happening at all. Haven't
At
for
all.
a while. And
Yeah,
now
yeah,
who
Desperate
knows
for
when
the
they'll
stage,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was,
then sorry, go ahead.
I was no, I was just saying, like, desperate for that energy for yourselves, right? It's
Mhm.
not, you're not desperate, to make the money off of a,
No.
a show. It's not, that's not it. It's
Oh,
it's
no.
that, it's that feeling of being up on stage and playing again in front of people. Like you said, who cares if they're 50 people spaced apart? You finally are able to play in front of people again.
Sometimes you don't even have 50 people at your show,
That's true.
in
Yeah.
non-COVID times. So
That's
There
right.
was
Yeah.
multiple bars where we sold the beer out by the end of the night in 2019. Like multiple bars, it happened, and every bar was like, "I'm so sorry, I can't believe this happened." But it was like 1 a.m. or like 1:30, and it was like, who cares? Like we had a hell of a good night, and
Right.
you made money, and
And
like
they're happy. Yeah. What
made-
matters
right.
is
they
they're
made
happy.
way
Yeah.
more money than I did, but we don't care
Yeah.
about that. Like we
I
want to
hope
have
so.
a great experience. We want to have a great night. We want to make fans, and that all happened. And the bar's happy because they sold out of beer, and they're like, "This never happens in Ottawa." And we're like, "Well, it can happen." Like,
Gotta give it a shot.
yeah. Well, Canadian artists, all of us, we have to hype. We have to believe in ourselves. If you make a product that you think is on par with the best products in the world, then tell people and don't stop telling them, because no one else is going to. And honestly, the people that like blow up big, we were talking about this the other day, they still go to LA. It hasn't changed. That part of the world is dying, but it hasn't changed. Like Post Malone is still a kid who was like, I'm going to LA, and
It's a
got in with the
pilgrimage.
right group of people, right? Tim Dillon, who's taking over the podcasting world. He was
Yep.
like, I'm going to LA. I'm getting in with Joe Rogan's people.
Yep.
Now he's taking over podcasting. Like that's what people still do. So if you're a Canadian who's like, I'm standing my ground in Canada, then you got to be really, really loud, because there are groups with money, and they spend, like I was saying on another podcast, like Justin Bieber, they'll spend $150,000, no problem, on promoting a song. Well, how the
Yeah.
heck do you think your
How do you
song's going to
compete with
get
that?
heard? Yeah,
It's
right?
not going to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely
So
not.
you got to be loud. You got to stand your ground, be creative. Like Wake Up Boy, we put it into the CBC Searchlight, like I was saying. And then a publicist who was one of the best in Canada was like, that's a good video. That's a really good music video. People should see that video. You should hire me, and I'll make sure more people see this video. And it's like, oh, of course the hiring part comes
Yeah,
into it.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But that's the business side of it, like
But
when we found a producer that we liked, he was like, yeah, pay me. And it was like, okay, fuck, again. But it's that sound. You can't argue with quality. You can't argue
But afterwards, when you go to play a show and you've played all these people, you know that you can get paid as well, right? You know your worth.
Right.
Because you're like, I've invested X amount of money. I've had X result or Y result. I deserve this as a compensation. And you got to value your art a little bit as well, as all these publicists, producers, engineers do as well, because it is time, and it requires some expertise that you develop over the years.
Right. And I think the best, I was going to say that I think some of the best, producers and whatnot, like you said, when they reach out to you, though, they want it just as much as you do, but they want to make sure that you sound good so you come back to them. Right. At the end of the day. So I think once you find that person and you have that relationship, and as long as it's a two-way relationship where they know you're invested, but they're also invested in you. So yeah, you're going to have to pay them. But at the same time, like you said, Alex, that you know that you can get something out of it at the end of the day for your art, then it's a win-win situation in that sense. So I think it's a really good point.
Yeah, as long as they're doing their fucking job, like that's the whole thing about finding someone you could work with. As long as they're doing their fucking job, even if they do their job and you don't get the numbers you thought, as long as you're paying someone and you're saying, that was worth my money because they put their best foot forward. And I think finding that is tough. So if you have someone you work with that you're happy with, it doesn't mind being part of your team. They're under your, the bands, you pay them. But as long as that work's being done, you could justify that payment. I think that's the thing. Like, I don't care if I don't get 20,000 fans. I get 400 fans, but saw this guy that we paid did everything in his power from the money we gave him. So and that's what I was talking about Nate before. Just right before this, you guys jumped on. I was just like finding someone reputable who your dollar goes further because you feel like they're doing their job, not just like you keep fucking pouring money into something and there's like, yeah, it's on Facebook, whatever, bullshit. Just as long as,
Like recently on this note, like Cleopatra, who else?
Yeah, we just talked about those guys recently.
Crown Lands. There's a few Canadian bands that recently rose up in stature in the world, I would say. closer into that Greta fear, as we'll call it, you know. And they moved up in the world. And then what we saw is the Damn Truth turned around, which is another great Canadian band. And they turned around and they're like, we're gonna go record with Bob Rock in Vancouver. And they took their bus from Toronto, went to Vancouver, because that's where he does his recordings in the Bryan Adams warehouse. And he was like, yeah, you come here. And they cut an album and they're getting rave reviews. It's doing really well in England right now. First, because that's where they're really releasing it first. And it's like, yeah, you see these bands, like the planning they've done. And like, I opened for the Damn Truth in 2012. And to see them now, like 9 years later, and they're still killing it. And they never gave up. They just pushed on. And now we're starting to get some of the accolades they deserve. So, I mean, it's a grind, but if you love music and you commit to it, then you'll find the right people that are your team. And
Absolutely.
that's the other thing. It's like, we're always applying for Factor all the time. And of course, and it's daunting and it's very upsetting sometimes. You get your judging results back. You need 88% to get the funding, the juried recording. And so in the past, we've applied 3 times. The one time, the first time we got like 84%, and we were like, oh my God, so close. And then the next time was 78, and we were like cursing them, and like it felt so horrible. And then you think about it, it's like 78 or 84. Like if that was the difference in a math test in school, I wouldn't really give that damn much.
No.
Question or two,
right?
yeah.
And then the next time it was 82% or 81% or whatever. And it's like
80.88.
it's not the number they're looking for, and but ultimately what you have to realize is it wasn't what they were looking for this round.
Right.
It wasn't.
It's exactly.
Right?
It wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't mean that they didn't love it and didn't like it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't what they were looking for at that time. That's a good
No,
point.
because when we're talking to Factor and we're submitting our marketing plan, we're doing everything, like we're planning everything to the T. Like, this is how we're going to spend the money. This is how we're going to market the album. This is who we're going to be working with. This is who's going to be mastering your album. These are the radio stations, that we're going to submit the music to, and that they've said that they're going to play our stuff. So it's really meticulous. And at the end of the day, you're just like, okay, well, what else can I offer you? Like give me the funding. I got everything planned out.
Right.
And you guys were talking about like Twitter, and you were talking about like Instagram followers and like that sort of thing, like the 10,000 number. Well, like, I can tell you for like 2 years, 3 years, we've been working like relentlessly on Twitter numbers, on Instagram numbers, on like legitimately building these things into like real accounts, right? And it's daunting work. It's not easy. You're always trying to think of something. You're always trying to keep it fresh. You're always trying to think of who's good people that you should be retweeting, all that stuff. And it's not about music at all. But if you want a community of people to listen to you, then you have to find a way to build a community. True. And that's how artists who don't have the big budgets get heard, is they build communities. They get into these communities where what they want is really good music. Like Dirty Honey, they did all the right things. They recorded in all the right places. They invested all the right ways. And then they went to the world and they said, tell me what's wrong with this. Like, tell me why this shouldn't be sitting beside Aerosmith or anyone else. And slowly but gradually, the world's going like, oh, you're right. This is just as good, if not better, than Greta Van Fleet, who's being shoved in our faces every day. And like, yeah, they're a good band, but there's lots of good bands. And so I'm proud. I'm happy that Dirty Honey was able to find a way to do this by finding the community. There is a rock and roll community. It exists. There's a lot of rock and roll lovers in America, a ton in Europe, and we've found like bizarrely a ton in South America, like Argentina, Brazil. There's like so many rock and roll fans, like they
Colombia,
just openly love it.
Venezuela,
they just love it. Yeah,
because I'd say that most of our love, especially at the beginning, was all UK for us. Everything
UK
like
has been really good.
UK has been really, really strong and been really supportive and sending over and playing our music consistently, at least on some of their stations over there, which I think, which has been nice, right? But I think, like you said, though, it's a grind here in Ontario, a grind in Canada to get that radio station play. Like it's not It's not just going to be messaging someone to get that on.
But do you
Right.
think
We
it's
were
like
lucky
as
Yeah, no,
enough.
most of the time.
We were lucky enough to get featured a couple of times on 94.9 The Rock, which is like really awesome because I feel like it's pretty like central in the GTA.
I'd say, yeah.
And yeah, I think it
Well,
was
they're good. They
Lee
do that
Eckley,
sometimes.
Brian
Yeah, he
Moncars,
looks out.
and they
Yeah, they.
I mean, they dug the songs and they chose to feature a couple from the album and Gone and Run Away and Loving Way as well. So it's been good. You know, if you could say your song's played on the radio, it's pretty cool. And even locally, we've got a lot of radio play with Live 88.5, which is the alternative radio station, and Rebel 101.7 rock station. They play our stuff like on the rock local segment. So, I mean, it's good validation for sure at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a different world. It's a different world. Like I don't even think it like even if one of our bands was to get to go be on like Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow, I think it would be really awesome. It would be really cool, but it wouldn't be career defining the way it was for the Beatles when they came over and were on Ed Sullivan. Like it's a different world. Like we've gotten to do a lot of amazing things with the band that I'm so happy about in the like I said in 2019, like playing a Sens game at intermission, like
Yeah,
playing
I
in front of
read that.
10
That's sweet.
That's awesome.
you know, like playing in front of 10,000 people. Like
Crazy.
you think like this stuff, like it goes right past us. It's just another day. But at the same time, I try and remember, I go like, yeah, we did play with that band who's like an amazing band, sold out. And then we sold out the beer and like, it was a hell of a good show. And like, that's what I want to get back to. That's what we all want to get back to.
Yeah.
It's just,
I want to play a live show and a rocket and
I want to come to London and play with you guys.
yeah, that would be
Sweet.
really
Yeah.
cool.
And then bring
Come
you
on.
guys to Ottawa.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
to
That'd be
Ottawa.
awesome.
You guys come to Ottawa, we go to London, we do
That'd be-
a few shows in between, like 4
Giddy up.
shows.
Yeah, there's a great band up in Barrie right now. 12 years today. They've a couple years. They've been a
But
couple years
non-Barry,
now.
man. They're gonna fucking
Oh,
hate you for that. They're
No,
non-Barry.
one of them is in Barrie. One of them is in some other. He's and Jay
Aurelia?
LaFontaine.
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 There you go,
Yeah.
Jay. You just saved us because he would
Yeah.
comment and be like,
Yeah.
"I'm not in Barrie."
Yeah.
But they're in Wasaga Beach. One of them's in Wasaga, but LaFontaine's pretty close, anyways. And they were going to do an acoustic show in May. Go figure. And clearly that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, would you guys come up?" And we're like, "Yeah, you know what? We'll, sure, we'll see if we can figure something out." But of course, it's not.
Just can't plan anything because you fucking plan anything and then it's like, oh, 17th wave. You're like, oh shit, I shouldn't plan anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
just can't really.
Said the only place you can play right now is the LCBO. You can play at the LCBO parking lots right
The
now.
old Lickbo, yeah.
The
Yeah,
old
the old
Lickbo,
Lickbo.
exactly.
And you're gonna get arrested.
That's
You're
exactly-
gonna get
Yeah,
arrested.
I mean,
yeah.
You're gonna be like, come on, you're still getting arrested. Like you couldn't do
Yeah.
this before. You
But
But
can't
that's
do it.
publicity, my
I
friend.
was gonna
Is
say,
it?
I thought
Yeah,
that,
that
bad
publicity.
publicity was good publicity. That's what I
No,
was.
it'd be
always
great
looking for.
publicity. He'd be like, yeah, fuck the man. They fucking put a show on. You know? They fucking...
I was just getting my land shark lager. and
That's
playing a
right.
show. Getting a 6-pack of land shark and just playing a show in front of the Lickbo. I think we should send Mig to the
Two
cop.
or three of us tried to meet up in a park the other day. To,
Oh,
like,
God.
try and with a bass guitar, with an acoustic bass and an acoustic, like, and just an acoustic guitar. And they tried to like walk by each other and be like, "Listen to this riff I came up with." And then like,
That's-
Yeah, we were like,
we saw the bike police coming down the hill, and they're like, "Everyone, get the hell out of here right now! Run!"
Disperse.
Got it. And the bike police just went like right by us, and we're like, "It's okay. I guess our like socially distanced triangle thing was okay."
It's okay.
all
Oh,
right.
man.
But
What
it
a
was
funny
cold as
we
fucking
were
hell.
like 3 meters apart. We were like and we were eating Cliff Bars and like drinking. Well, Joe was drinking beer. Joe's gone. I think it's
Joe, yeah, we didn't
Yeah, I
even
think-
mention it. He just
Yeah,
disappeared.
I feel
He-
bad.
His internet must have kicked out.
Yeah.
He came and went a few times, and then
Yeah,
now he's
He's like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
my bass, and I was like shivering, and I was just like, "Okay, let's write a riff, guys. This is gonna be fun." And I'm more
Is that
singing.
is that how you guys like for some of your music? Are you guys usually starting like for you, Alex? Are you the one who's kind of starts it? You have the riff on bass, or does
A lot of the times, yes. I mean, I figure a lot of my bass riffs on the acoustic, and then me and Joe get together and we sort of figure out the structure, and we sort of layer things on. Warren's gonna have a nice vocal melody idea, and then Adam's gonna put his drums on top. I'll record the bass on click, and then he's gonna put some drums. Mig is gonna put some rhythm on it. But yeah, usually it starts with we like, and then we sort of build that idea.
Go with
Riffs are important. Riffs are always super important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
what we're
are.
looking
Drive the
for.
song.
We're- Like we are all involved in the process so much. Like even Adam or myself are involved early on. The drummer, Adam or myself as the vocalist, like early in the process. If we're like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah,
it
they
can't-
say
it's,
it.
it's not
It hurts.
happening, right? Like so,
It
like
hurts.
we're all looking for that thing
On
that
thick
makes us
skin.
go like, I want to hear that riff that makes me want to like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
here we go. You know, like as soon as I hear that riff, then it's like off to the races. And so it doesn't matter who comes up with it. Like sometimes it's Mig, sometimes it's Alex. In the past, it was Danny. Also, we took stuff to our producer in Toronto, and Ross would be like, "That riff sucks. Let's try it another way." And that happens, or he'll be like, "Those lyrics, I'm not a fan of those lyrics, Warren," because I'll do the lyrics. And then again, I'll take them to the guys
Uh-oh. We're losing him.
and be like, guys, I need your help
Yeah,
with
you got
these lyrics. Please help me. And, you know, we'll get everything going.
Warren. That was you powered through, but you are frozen on our screen, man. You look like you're about to like scream or something in this picture.
This reminds me of the first podcast or one that I was doing this.
You
to.
froze, man. It was
froze right up and-
hilarious. He froze, but then he would come and go and be like, "You're like, hey," but he's frozen. And like, hey, it was so funny. It happened a few
There it
times.
goes.
Oh, he's
There
back.
it is.
He's back.
There it is.
Yes.
See, that was way
Yes.
quicker than I was.
Yeah, you guys see that on playback. You like not only froze, but you slowed down. Everything slowed down. It was
was beautiful.
unreal.
Yeah.
I became robotic.
Yeah,
You did. Exactly.
that Ottawa internet, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm on Ottawa.
Yeah, Alex,
internet,
you're on it, so I don't know, but
but the modem's right next to me, and I
yeah.
have. the
Yeah, we lost
blessing-
one of your bandmates. He's gone, and that was
So.
Only
so
one of
what's, what's on tap for you guys next? Like, do you guys have another single in the works, or because I know you said you're working on you're looking to get that album as well. But what's the next thing on tap for you guys?
I think we'll do one more single,
Yeah.
maybe
Mhm.
two,
Yeah.
maybe
One or two.
maybe two, one or two. Not more than two. And then we
Less
need an
than.
album again.
Yeah.
Because albums are how you can, like I said, load up those combo punches and try and take over the world, like Pinky in the Brain. You know,
Oh, man, forgot about Pinky in the Brain. I love that
Pinky
show.
in the Brain.
yeah.
Have you watched the new season of Animaniacs? It's pretty good.
Is
that
it?
the season?
Yeah, there's a new season.
Yeah.
It's on Stack TV, and
Oh, yeah.
it's very political. Like it's very like Trump bashing and everything. Because
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's really
I
good.
didn't know.
I like
wow.
it. All the
I
political.
had no idea they had an. Oh,
Me
man.
neither. Hello,
Yeah, new
nurse.
name.
Remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Hey,
What's
something
that
to do.
on? Sorry, what's that on really quick?
Stack TV.
Stack TV.
Don't know what
It's
that
like
is.
It's part
It's
of
like a streaming service, and
Yeah.
it
Okay.
includes like Teletoon and other channels.
Teletoon. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Teletoon still exists.
Wow. All right, I'm
My
checking it out.
TV, Teletoon.
It's funny, eh?
I might legally download it. You know? I might have to
I mean, you
legally find it.
You might have to stream that.
Yeah, legally. Yeah,
You
gotta,
might have to VPN that.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I gotta find that.
Evo it.
Yeah, it might be worth it though.
Hilarious.
Shit.
Oh man! All right,
Yeah,
guys. Well,
that
we're
makes-
almost running out of time. I mean, I feel like we could talk to you guys honestly for an hour, like hours upon hours on end, which is great. So I'd love to
Yeah.
do this again if you guys are up for it, especially
Oh,
if
yeah.
things start to open up or if you've got another single on the way. I'd love to have you guys on and we can chat more, even just about the music as well. But if you guys want to plug all your stuff, where can everyone find you? What's the
So
best
you can
way?
Go ahead,
You want
Warren.
me to go, Alex? You want to go, Alex?
Come on, you go and I'll get what
Want
you
me to
missed.
go?
I'll get what you missed.
TamingSariBand.com. You can get everything there. But you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So what is it, Alex? Those 3 links? You remember them?
So it's Facebook.com/Taming Sari Band, Instagram.com/Taming Sari Band. Twitter is Taming_Sari Band.
Yeah, that's right. Taming underscore.
That's
Sari.
right.
And YouTube for video, Taming Sari Band, the channel. And
Oh
you
yeah,
can-
subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah,
Please.
definitely
We're
do that.
421 subscribers. We are going to get to 1,000.
click
people.
that bell.
Do it.
Yay!
Hit that bell
it.
if you like
Hit
the
that
videos.
bell.
Yeah, hit that
Yeah.
bell. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
no doubt.
Yeah.
And follow us on Spotify because we also need followers on Spotify. And then
Yeah.
we're coming to London one day. We're gonna play a show with you
Giddy
guys.
up.
Fuck
I'd love to
yeah.
see it. Honestly,
Fuck
I
yeah.
can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. I was on Twitter before we go. I was on Twitter and I don't know where or how I saw you guys. Because I run kind of the Twitter. Andrew does the Instagram
Nice.
stuff. And I came across a song, and like I said, I honestly can't tell you. I don't know if it was some sort of chart or something that was on, and it was Forgone and Run Away. And I heard it, and I said to Andrew's like, I got to get these guys on. I'm a huge Canadian music person. I love Canadian music. I love it. I love it. Love it. So it was just, I heard it and I was like, I got to try and have you guys on if possible. So I'm so glad that you guys could come on and we could chat. And like I said, I'd like to do it again.
And
So
thanks, guys. And
Yeah, thank
we
you
listen
so
to your
much,
stuff too. I really like your stuff too, guys.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll see you in hopefully here in London, or we can come up to Ottawa, either one.
We're
In
gonna do
person.
both. It's a
Like
In
the
dream.
show.
person.
Yeah, we have better internet, so if you guys make a day of it, we might as well.
Oh, I'm coming to steal all your internet. I'll
Yeah,
stock it
yeah.
and
Yeah,
I have
we're gonna
I have
bring it
Ethernet
back.
cables. I have Ethernet cables. You just just connect them and go.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
So we're good. I got you. I
couple of
got you.
kilometers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll dig some. We'll raise some. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right,
We get
boys.
Starlink.
Yeah.
Peace, guys.
All right,
All right,
guys. Nice
guys.
meeting you
All right,
guys.
thank you, Nathan.
See you
Ciao.
later.
Thank you, Andrew.